Hello dear students. In this video, under the topic application layer, I'll be teaching you two concepts, cryptography and the future of IP addressing. First, let us see what is cryptography. In modern scenario, when numerous computers can instantaneously get connected on the network and exchange information between each other, the security of the information which is exchanged between two hosts is of great importance. In order to secure the information transmitted on the network, a technology called cryptography is used. Cryptography is based on various mathematical concepts like number theory, computational complexity theory, and probability theory. Cryptology is a field of study of cryptosystems. Cryptosystem is a system which can secure the information provided to it. Cryptology has two branches of study, cryptography and cryptanalysis. Cryptography deals with converting the original data into a cipher data so that the original data will be completely modified, and even if somebody reads the cipher data, the original data cannot be retrieved from it. Cryptanalysis is the branch which can break the cipher text. The cryptanalysis field aims at breaking the cipher text into original text. Cryptography deals with changing the original text to cipher text. Cryptanalysis deals with breaking up the cipher text back into the original text. So these two fields of study have been effectively used in the field of computer science in order to secure the information on the internet. Before sending the data from the sender onto the network, cryptography is applied to convert the data into cipher form, and the cipher data will be transmitted over the network. At the receiver side, cryptanalysis is used to break the cipher data back to the original data. Hence, during the transmission of the data on the network, even if an eavesdropper accidentally or intentionally is going to hack the data or capture the data and tries to read the data, the original data cannot be read by him, because cipher data is a modified version of the original data which does not make any sense. It is converted into symbols and characters which does not make any sense to unauthorized users. So cryptography, therefore, is the art and science of making crypto systems which are capable of providing information security. So it refers to design of mechanisms using mathematical algorithms in order to provide fundamental information security services of the digital data. Cryptanalysis system is the art and science of breaking the cipher text. Cryptanalysis is a sister branch of cryptography, and they have to both coexist. The cryptographic process will result in the ciphertext for transmission or storage. Cryptanalysis deals with mechanisms to break the ciphertext into its original form. Hence, cryptanalysis is used during the design of new cryptographic techniques in order to test the strength of the security provided by them. Some of the security services provided by cryptography are, first one is confidentiality. Confidentiality is a fundamental service provided by cryptography. So it's a security service which keeps the information away from an unauthorized person. So it provides the privacy or secrecy of the information. The confidentiality can be achieved in numerous ways, ranging from physically securing the data to use of mathematical algorithms in order to encrypt the data. So encrypting the data means converting them to cipher text. Data integrity is the second cryptographic service. Data integrity deals with a security service by identifying any alteration on the data. The data may get modified by an unauthorized user on the network. He might do it intentionally or accidentally. So the data integrity service of cryptography will confirm whether the data is intact or not altered since it was last created, transmitted, or stored by the authorized user. Data integrity service cannot prevent the alteration of data, but it can detect if the data was altered or manipulated in an unauthorized manner. The next cryptographic service is authentication. The authentication deals with providing the identification of the originator. It confirms to the receiver that the data received by it is sent only by a verified sender. There are two variants of authentication services: message authentication and entity authentication. Message authentication identifies the originator of the message without any regard to the router or system which has sent the message. Entity authentication deals with assurance that the data has been received from a specific entity like website. So whenever data is received from websites, the entity authentication is used to identify its originator. Whenever data is received from host computers, message authentication will be used to identify the originator of the message. The fourth and the last type of service provided by the cryptographic systems is non-repudiation. Non-repudiation is a security service which ensures that an entity cannot deny the ownership of the data which it has created. So it will assure that the original creator of the data cannot deny the creation or transmission of the said data to the recipient or third party. So it basically aims to identify the original creator of the message. So this particular service is very useful in cyber crimes. Whenever a cyber crime is investigated, most of the times the originator of the information is to be identified in cyber crimes. So non-repudiation service of cryptography would be very useful in these cases. Now let us see what are the primitive functions which are used in cryptography. Cryptography primitives are nothing but the tools and techniques which are used in cryptography. 4 tools and techniques are used in cryptography, namely encryption, hash functions, message authentication codes, and digital signatures. Encryption is a technique of changing the original data into ciphertext before sending them to the network. Hash functions are also a sophisticated kind of encryption techniques which are used to modify the original data before it is put onto the network in order to secure it from unauthorized access. Message authentication codes are basically used in order to provide the authentication service. Digital signatures are used to confirm the ownership of the records which have been sent. So digital signatures are nowadays used in most of the online documents. Digital signatures ensure the genuinity of the online documents. When we consider the strength of these techniques in terms of primitive services, the encryption technique can provide confidentiality, but it cannot assure integrity, authentication, and non-repudiation service. Whereas hash function can assure integrity of the service, and it cannot assure confidentiality, authentication, and non-repudiation. MAC, which is Message Authentication Service, is going to provide integrity, authentication, and non-repudiation, whereas it doesn't assure confidentiality. Digital signature assures integrity, authentication, and non-repudiation, but it doesn't deal with confidentiality. So, depending on the situation and type of data which is to be transmitted between two hosts, these cryptographic primitives can be used accordingly. It's not that all four techniques have to be used every time. Any combination of these techniques can be customized and used depending on the type of data which has to be transmitted over the network. So that was about cryptography. Now the next topic, the future of IP addressing, that is IPv6. So in one of my previous videos, I have discussed the IPv4 and IPv6, which are the two IP versions which are in use today in detail. The future of IP addressing lies with IPv6. So today, there are many private networks and public networks which are connecting trillions of users together on the network. But this was not the case just 5 years before. 5 years before, the number of internet users was much less. It was in billions. During that time, we used to make use of IPv4, which was capable of generating billions of addresses. But with the popularization of network facilities, we started to feel shortage of IP addresses. We started running out of IP addresses to be allotted to the new users. Hence, the IETF, International Engineering Task Force Organization, recognized this and commissioned a committee to create the next generation of IP address, and thus evolved with IPv6. IPv6 is the new release of the IP protocol. Some of the major changes in this IPv6 compared to IPv4 are: IPv6 has expanded addressing capabilities. The address size in IPv6 is 128 bits as opposed to the 32 bits in IPv4. Hence, IPv6 can provide trillions of IP addresses for the internet. The second major change is simplification of the IP header. Much of the IPv4 header information was found to be irrelevant and redundant. Hence, these have been made optional and some have been dropped entirely as well. In case of IPv6, the IPv6 header size is also reduced to a fixed size of 40 bytes, whereas in IPv4, it was a variable header size ranging from 20 to 60 bytes. In IPv6, the 40 bytes header contains only the basic and fundamentally required information. This would speed up processing of the IP header information at the receiving host. The third major change in IPv6 is improved extensibility of the IP header. IPv6 contains extension headers. Any additional information can be put in the extension headers. Hence, the IP header would become more efficient and flexible in terms of the information which is sent through the header. So another important benefit of having extension header is the extension headers can be filled only if that particular information is present for that particular packet of data. Otherwise, they can be excluded. Hence, the IP header becomes more easy to evolve with the newer designs or newer changes which are happening in the field of internet today. So the IPv6 header is it is expected to be more compatible with the kind of data transfer which is expected in future without having to be redesigned in terms of its header format. The IPv6 also assures improved flow control. With IPv6, the IP datagrams will be able to request better quality of service. They might be capable of requesting a time-specific delivery and minimum bandwidth availability for real-time services. The last important change in IPv6 is increased security. The IPv6 header include extensions to support authentication of the source and destination hosts. And this would assure non-corruption of data. And also, there are options for encrypting data as it is transmitted over the network within the IP header construct. The IPv6 is capable of achieving this by providing a specialized extension header for encryption of data. Hence, IPv6 is expected to be the future of IP addressing. So in this video, you learned a brief introduction to cryptography and the future of IP addressing, that is the IPv6 protocol. Thank you.